This one. I've got to get my big drill out. My name's Matthew. I'm from Jim's Antennas Yarraville. Been in the game for a little while now. We're here to do some camera installations and some TV wall mounts. So we'll walk through some of the advantages of having active deterrent cameras. So they've got some features that kind of scare off any intruders if they come into play or into vision, where we can set up an intrusion zone, and they'll flash some lights and do a voice prompt to let them know that there's cameras watching and recording. So that normally scares them off. So when we go to a customer's house or a client, we normally walk through what they want to achieve from their security camera installations, and then we walk through where we might get the best coverage, what type of cameras we need to install, whether we need really good night vision. Some cameras come with backup lighting, so if there's a little bit of ambient light around, they'll stay colour anyway. But if you've got some dark areas that you need to cover, we can put up some cameras that have backlighting in them, or a backup sensor light, so they can also come on when they've detected movement within a field of view. So they act essentially as a spotlight or a sensor light. So if there's no sensor light there, on say you've got an entry point under your porch or something, and the electrician hasn't put a sensor light there, those cameras can also act as a sensor light. So you're kind of getting a two-in-one deal with that. So that's kind of what we put in at the entry point of the homes. But we also walk around and just make sure that we're covering any blind spots. Some buildings are a little bit trickier than others, where we've got L-shaped areas and garages and bits that kind of protrude from the front of the home, where we might have some dead spots that we need to actually cover with the cameras. So we might need to put additional cameras in, or ones that have a different field of view. So there are cameras that have two lenses built into them that'll do a 180 view and stitch the image together. So that's a good camera to kind of put centralised, that'll cover a wide frontage property where we normally have to put 2 or 3 cameras potentially. So that's always a good option for the customer if we're trying to cover a big field of view. Today we've got 3 cameras going in. We've got again one of those dual lens cameras, so they're called a duo lens with active deterrents built in. So they also have the backlighting, so they will light up if there's not enough ambient light around. So if there's trees or there's no street light out the front, they'll put a bit of extra light in there, so they'll remain colour during the night. We've also got an active deterrent camera going up upon entry to just under the porch area, and I normally face them back towards the front door. So if you have maybe a delivery guy coming, or you're expecting a delivery or a visitor and you're not home, you can actually use that camera to talk to that person. They have two-way audio in them. So on the app on your phone, you can actually hold a little microphone down and talk to who's at your front door. And also, if you've got deliveries and they're leaving them at the door, you can see that the package has been delivered, and you can keep an eye on them, make sure that it doesn't go missing or astray. We've also got just a standard 6 meg camera, so there's different resolution cameras you can get. So again, when we talk to customers in regards to install, we talk about what type of clarity we need. So we can get 8 megapixel cameras that shine a bit further and have a bit more clarity and a bit of a sharper view. Those cameras aren't always necessary. So the 6 megapixel cameras are pretty adequate most of the time for most of my installs. So and they've got a 120 degree viewing angle, so they've got quite a good field of view anyway. Those images do go black and white of a night time. They don't have colour night vision unless there's enough ambient light around. So they have low lux lenses in them, and they will remain colour if they've got enough light around, so from a street light, or you've got a back porch light on or something like that. But the colour image isn't always necessary. A black and white image is clear anyway, and normally enough for most installs. Comes down to what you really need from the installation and your budget as well. Obviously the ones with active deterrents and colour do cost a little bit more. In terms of storage, most of the installs, you normally get about 2 weeks continuous recording out of those. We can upgrade the hard drives, put extra hard drive capacity in there to get longer recording periods. So if you're going overseas and you've got extended times away from your home that you need those recordings to take place, we can extend that out, or we can just set some cameras to record motion only. That'll extend the recordings out as well. But they're all IP cameras, so they're linked up through the internet and your phone. So if you're overseas or you're on holiday or you're away, you can get active alerts of movement, or any people coming or going from your property within a field of view, or you can set your own areas and times that you might want to be alerted about people coming and going from your property. The cameras have some smarts in them, AI smarts that will detect human and vehicle movement only. So they'll ignore leaves and wind and things blowing around, and actually won't alert you on and you get less false notifications with the smarts that are built into the cameras. So they've come a long way since just motion detection. There's also more so in commercial installs and things like that, there's areas we can set up as intrusion zones or tripwires, where we can actually have an imaginary line in front of an entry point or a doorway, where if someone crosses over that line coming or going, you can actually have the active deterrents come on and flash lights or do an audible alert to let you know that people are coming and going. So that might work in a shop front environment or something, retail store, things like that. There's lots of things we can tweak with the cameras now. They've come a long way in terms of technology and smarts, and the apps are very clever, and you can do a lot just from your phone app nowadays. So, and we normally just talk through with the customer of how to set all that up, how many phones we're putting it on, what type of alerts we need, and when we need to get those alerts. Yes, this is a DAWA recorder. It's a 4-channel recorder. So we can put 4 cameras on these ones. We can also grab 16 channel recorders, 8-channel recorders. It all depends whether we're doing a domestic install or a commercial type install. You can put as many cameras as you like. Most domestic homes don't usually have more than 8 cameras, so we generally go 4 or 8 channel recorders for a domestic kind of install. And these have got all the smarts and stuff that talk to the actual cameras and work out what's an intruder and what's not, in terms of active deterrence and sending alerts to your phone, and flashing lights and putting audible deterrent messages across through the camera. So one of the cameras that we do like to install, this is a Dahua brand camera. It's one of our preferred brands. We have other brands, Hikvision, Swan. There's a whole array of brands we can use. It's got a red and blue light in there that'll flash if you come into an area that you're not supposed to be in at a particular time if you wish. So you could set it at 11 o'clock at night, anything after 11 o'clock if someone comes into your driveway, up until 5:30 or 6 in the morning, for instance. This will flash and either send a siren noise off, or there's some predetermined voice prompts in there. You're under surveillance, for example. You can't park here, things like that. You can actually do your own recording as well. That involves just setting up a laptop and programming a recording that you've made yourself. So that's one of the really good cameras we like to use. This is a newer one that's come on the market pretty recently. It's a active deterrent camera, but it's got 2 lenses in it that kind of face at a 45-degree outwards angle, and it actually takes a 180-degree view and stitches the image together. So when you actually look at the image on your phone or on a monitor or a screen, you can't actually see whether the image is stitched together, but you'll get a 180-degree view. So it's perfect for putting one in a central location if you want to catch a street view of your whole front yard, for instance, or your front nature strip, driveway, street. Perfect for those type of scenarios, or laneways. So that's one we're going to install today. And again, these are those the standard 6 meg cameras. So these are a little bit more budget friendly if you're on a bit of a budget and you're trying to save a bit of money. Awesome camera still, however, they've only got one-way audio, so they do still have a microphone in them. They record, sounds and noises and voices. They have an IR infrared night vision, so that means they get black and white image of a nighttime, but nice and clear. Again, low lux colour lenses, so they can remain colour if there's enough lighting around. They don't need a lot of light to remain colour of a nighttime. Sometimes we need to use brackets to put cameras up in certain scenarios. If we're mounting off a brick wall, for instance, we might have to put a camera junction up. So this is a 90-degree junction. It's like an L-shaped junction box where the camera will mount underneath off a bracket in order to get our cabling in there. So if you're coming off a solid brick wall or a concrete wall where you've had to drill through it or something like that and we can't hide the cabling, we'd implement one of these. And they come in different shapes and sizes. We've got an L-shaped 90-degree standoff bracket here, and we've just got your standard round ones. And yeah, we pretty much need these to conceal our cabling and things like that, keep the water out of the cabling and make sure that everything works as it should. So that's another thing we'll be implementing on one of the cameras today. Basically, I'd like to put your recorder in here and come through that wall socket there, or make my own hole, and cabling's going to run from externally in conduit into the roof space. So recorder will go in here somewhere. You can sit off to the side and just have a HDMI cable up to your monitor, and there's your you've got that going on. So out here, and this is where I'll probably use that standoff bracket. I can't get a cable in there really, unless I go into this roof space and I can actually physically see. I can stick it under the eaves there. Ideally I'd like to do that, but if I can't, once I'm in this roof space here, this roof cavity, I should be able to come down low enough to get the camera here somewhere, hopefully, and mount it off. And that way we can just shine in here and you get a pretty good coverage just off that 6 meg. But I'll put them up here, shining out, and you get a good view out that way, that's fine. But you're already going to have that active deterrent camera doing the whole street basically. So we've got that covered. So instead I was going to put an active deterrent up here facing in this way. So if anyone walks through an imaginary line here, it'll do the siren and lights for you. Yeah, I'm just having a bit of a look in terms of cabling. This bit's actually detached from your main roof. So I've got to bring my cable down the edge here where there's already existing conduit, most likely. And I'll have to loop around into this bit somewhere or another. So whether I just come out of there and whip into here and over here. And then up here is where I want to put your active deterrent dual 180. Now I was going to stick it in the centre there, but it's very hard. It's going to have conduit running to it. It might look a bit rubbish. If I stick it here or there, I can conduit to it from the edge, and at least you'll get a good view from this side of it, and it's not going to look a bit rough. I'll call it around here, and this roof height is probably, I can't get down to put the camera under here, so I think what I'm going to do is come down the eaves and just conduit in, and we're going to have the camera off that side, so we're going to change it up a bit. Just because it's too hard to get down here. Unless we drill out and conduit down, which we can do as well, but I think it's going to be better if we come across from there. Although you do have that downlight spotlight there, so we'll have to work on that. But I've got to drill through the brickwork here, rather than going through that stuff. Yeah, so I'm going to have a look, and then I might hit this one, and then I can pull a yellow tongue through and tape up and pull some cable through. So I think this one, I'm just going to put a hole here and conduit in and across. So I can get that cable in. I'll do the same on that one. And then this one, we'll drill through the brickwork. Just above that doorway, it's a single line of brick I can get to. So I can kind of mount it there, which is ideal. I want to keep it low enough. I've got to get my big drill out to drill through this brickwork. What's in there yet? That'll be like that. And I'm going to come down and into this so I can get my cable to there. So what we're doing here is just putting a hole for our cables to come down, because we've got a stud wall against a double brick wall, because it's an old frontage shop front here, and there's not a very good wall cavity to bring our cables down. But we've found a path coming down from the top that we can use, and we just put a cable feeder through, or a yellow tongue, tape to that, and we get our cables out down the bottom here. So essentially we'll cut a hole, and then we'll expose the cavity and the brickwork behind there. Alright, and then we'll get a yellow tongue up through here, tape onto the cables up the top. Alright, so we've gone up top, we've taped our yellow tongue to the actual cable. So with a bit of luck and nothing tangles up, it should come down, and we should see some cables coming through. Yep, and there's our cables for our 3 security cameras, and we'll fit them off with a brush plate here so it looks nice and neat, and we'll have some cable tidy over this so it's not just 3 loose cables coming out the wall. So we've got our cables down the wall, taped to the yellow tongue, got it all through successfully, which is great. We need to have our cables come out of a brush plate, so that's just a wall plate with little bristles in it where our cables can poke through. What I generally do is, instead of having just cables coming out the wall, we find it a bit more neater running it through this cable protection coating stuff that we just slide on. Just looks a bit neater, and then once we get that through, we'll fit off the ends, which will plug directly into the back of the NVR, or the network video recorder. And yeah, nice and neat that way. And then we have that brush plate against the wall, so we just have essentially that coming out of the wall, so it looks a bit neater than just 3 cables coming out. Alright, so we've got our cables through the wall, we've put our cable cover on there so it looks nice and neat. It's a matter of plugging it all and setting it all up. There's a bit of config to do to get them up and running properly, but to get them going we essentially plug our cameras in. So on the back of the recorder here, this is a 4-channel recorder, so we've got 4 channels for each camera, a network port for your internet to plug in so you can get the app working on your phone, a HDMI output for your screen. In this case we're going to use the TV today, just for the demonstration. And we've got a mouse to plug in the back here so I can navigate on the screen and set things up. And we've also got our power. We'll start by plugging in our cameras to ports 1 through to 3. And we can label our cameras and name them on the screen once we know which ones they are. Or we can pre-label them if we need to be when we're doing the install. The mouse plugs in either the front or the back, and the reason being is there's 2 USB ports. One is to put in a USB in order to drag footage off if you need it, so that's what that's for. In this case we'll just use the back one so we can navigate with that, and then we'll power her up with the power. So we've got a DC jack here. An add-on feature you can do is a USP, which is an uninterruptible power supply, so if your power runs out your cameras are still rolling, so that's a good feature to have, and something to think about. And we can always ask the customer when we're quoting our jobs whether that's something that they'd like to have. So that's got to power up for a little bit. We do have a network cable down here, we'll plug that one in as well. And we've got our network lights blinking away, so that's a good thing. And that will allow us to set up our QR codes on our phones to get the app up and running. So we'll get to that as well.